Meet Charles Coleman Sr., a respected African-American judge with an inspiring backstory. He juggled day shifts and night classes, pouring his heart into becoming a judge. Charles often shared stories with his son CJ about Muhammad Ali, emphasizing the importance of standing up for one's beliefs. The Colemans shared a bond that went beyond father and son. They were friends. Charles was CJ's role model, teaching him valuable life lessons through their close relationship. But their world shattered when CJ, only 23, was killed by 2 police officers during a routine traffic stop. The young man had just landed his dream job at the police academy and was bursting with excitement on his first day. As CJ drove through an intersection, officers Vaughn and Rory were on patrol. Rory, carrying racial prejudices, misinterpreted CJ's innocent victory sign as an offensive gesture. Charles, who had dedicated his life to the justice system, watched in horror as it failed his family. The officers walked free, leaving Charles grappling with a painful struggle for justice. Now, this grieving father must question everything he once believed in. How far will he go to seek justice for CJ? The path ahead is fraught with difficult decisions and moral dilemmas. The situation takes a tragic turn when a simple misunderstanding spirals out of control. Due to a reflection in the car window, Rory mistakenly thinks CJ is giving him the middle finger. Feeling disrespected, Rory decides to pull CJ over. Tensions rise quickly. When CJ reaches for his license, Rory, already on edge, misinterprets the movement. In a split second, he fires his weapon, believing he's defending himself. The aftermath reveals a heartbreaking truth. All they find in CJ's car is an appointment letter for his first day at the police academy. CJ was unarmed, simply on his way to pursue his dream of becoming a police officer. Rory, desperate to cover his mistake, plants a gun in CJ's car to justify the shooting. Meanwhile, V, generally a good man, is racked with guilt over his part in an innocent young man's death. The tragedy shakes the Coleman family to its core. Charles, known for his fair treatment of African-American defendants, is devastated. His wife Marilyn, a dedicated police officer of Chinese descent, is equally heartbroken. Unable to reconcile her son's death at the hands of her colleagues, Marilyn makes the painful decision to quit her job. Charles, however, feels compelled to stay on as the town's only African-American judge, knowing his position is crucial for representation in the justice system. As the inquiry approaches, V's conscience weighs heavily on him. He confronts Rory about their upcoming testimony, but Rory, hardened and unrepentant, dismisses his concerns. Rory remains unyielding, insisting they can't change what happened to CJ. He tries to justify their actions, claiming they were protecting each other. At the inquiry, V, despite his inner turmoil, backs up Rory's story. They lie under oath and are cleared of wrongdoing, walking away free men. Charles watches in disbelief as the system he once trusted fails him. His grief and anger deepen when he confronts the officers, only to be met with Rory's cold refusal to apologize. This pushes Charles further in his quest for justice. Enter Horace, a seasoned detective who uncovers files exposing Vaughn and Rory's pattern of unlawful behavior. Feeling a sense of duty and sympathy towards Charles, whom he has history with, Horace shares this crucial evidence. Among the files, Charles finds a connection to Javier, another father who lost his son to the same officers. The two men meet, bonding over their shared loss and thirst for justice. Javier, who had buried his pain for years, finds new hope in Charles' determination. Disillusioned with the legal system that failed them, Charles and Javier make a bold decision. They begin planning to take matters into their own hands, stepping outside the bounds of the law they once respected. As their plan takes shape, the stakes grow higher. These grieving fathers are about to embark on a dangerous path in their pursuit of justice. Will their actions bring the closure they seek, or will it lead to more tragedy? Charles and Javier's meeting reveals a disturbing pattern. Javier shares how V and Rory also unjustly shot his son, a memory he had long buried. Talking with Charles reignites Javier's hope for justice. United by grief and determination, the two fathers prepare for a challenging battle ahead. Charles uncovers a history of unpunished misconduct by V and Rory, strengthening their resolve to fight back. As Charles gathers witnesses and evidence, he faces a dilemma. Suing the police department himself would cost him his position as judge. Recognizing the importance of his role, he asks Javier to lead the lawsuit while he provides behind-the-scenes support. The media catches wind of the story, but their coverage takes an unexpected turn. Reports emerge claiming CJ was armed, tarnishing his reputation. This false narrative paints CJ as a criminal, further devastating his family. Marilyn, heartbroken and furious, urges Charles to clear their son's name. The weight of her plea and the injustice of the situation push Charles to dig deeper. In his relentless pursuit of the truth, Charles stumbles upon a crucial piece of evidence. This discovery could be the key to exposing the real story and vindicating CJ's memory. What will Charles do with this information, and how will it change the course of their fight for justice? Charles uncovers a shocking revelation. The gun Rory claimed belonged to CJ has been used to implicate victims in multiple crime scenes. This weapon, repeatedly planted by Rory, exposes a pattern of cover-ups. Armed with this damning evidence, Charles confronts the town's mayor, hoping for support, but the mayor dismisses his findings, insisting the guns are simply similar models with filed-off serial numbers. He refuses to acknowledge the possibility of deliberate framing, even when Charles points out that CJ's fingerprints were never tested on the weapon. Meanwhile, V, burdened by guilt, confesses the truth to his wife. He admits CJ was unarmed but defends his actions as protecting his family by siding with Rory. His wife urges him to come clean, but V remains torn between conscience and loyalty. Charles, increasingly disillusioned with the justice system's treatment of African Americans, makes a desperate decision to take matters into his own hands. He shares footage of Javier's son's shooting with Javier, revealing that, like CJ, he was unarmed when killed. United by their shared pain and frustration, Charles and Javier decide to confront Rory, hoping to scare him into confessing. However, their plan takes an unexpected and dangerous turn. As they face Rory, the situation quickly spirals out of control, leading to a tense and potentially violent confrontation. What will be the consequences of Charles and Javier's desperate actions? How far will they go in their pursuit of justice, and at what cost? The confrontation with Rory takes a violent turn. In the heat of the moment, Rory admits to shooting CJ, but before a full confession can be extracted, he attacks. Charles, forced to defend himself, tragically shoots Rory. Horace uncovers evidence linking Charles to Rory's death, and a police circular identifies Charles and Javier as suspects. The search intensifies, pushing Charles to confront V, who's under police protection. In a pivotal moment, V admits CJ was unarmed and expresses remorse, but Charles, consumed by grief and anger, can't forgive. In a shocking turn, he shoots V. The situation spirals out of control as police track down Charles and Javier. A dramatic and violent confrontation ensues, ending with both men being shot by police. Their quest for justice comes to a tragic, heartbreaking end. This powerful story explores themes of systemic injustice, grief, and the dangers of taking the law into one's own hands. It raises important questions about the limits of our justice system and the devastating consequences of unchecked prejudice. We hope you found this recap engaging. If you enjoyed it, please support us by liking, subscribing, and hitting the bell icon for notifications about our upcoming movie recaps.